Okay, welcome back. So, I have some fun news for you, first of all. And that's on Wednesday at noon, Mountain Time. Jerry will have a live stream, and I will join him with some other people also. We are like five, maybe we will be six persons. Six people, and we will just talk melted buildings, red bricks, conspiracies, theorize, and some shit about the government and the masked people, the retards. So that's the YouTube channel When the Buildings Cried. Link will be down below. I will join noon Mountain Time at Wednesday. Okay. So that may be fun. Just some crazy talk. So that's shout out to Jerry, When the Buildings Cried, and shout out to Derek, Spartan Red. Links to both those channels will be down below in the description, so please check them out. Subscribe, give them a bell also, so you get notifications. They have really good shit, so if you are new to this phenomenon, this multi-building shit, so then you will have tons of content with those three channels alone, hundreds of videos total. So you will never run out of videos to watch, to try to see what the fuck is going on or what have happened here in the fucking past, because it's pretty bizarre if you just look at the evidence. So I have collected some pictures here for another video I will show you. And some of them is really interesting. And let's just get to it. So here you have a castle in the middle of nowhere. And you can see on the sides how it is all. I will make this pen ready because I need to draw because some people are blind. So can you see how this was a brick flood? This was the building that melted down and created this. So it looks like it was built on top of a hill, but it wasn't originally. But the building melted, so all the melting from the brick started to flow to the side, because that's what happens when you melt something from the bottom. It will flow down to flow out to the sides. So this is the result of it. And here you can see some pretty bad devastation. Not too much left, but you still can see some of it. All of this was red bricks, Tartarian bricks, like all the rest of the buildings. But the heat cooked them together and turned it into this shit and stones. And look at the destruction here. This was like perfect columns. The whole roof is gone for some goddamn reason. Here is columns, nothing left here. Some of these buildings looks like they were both melted and blasted to shit by some fucking bombs or something. I don't know, because where is the roof? Did it collapse down and it's melted here in the ground? Who knows? But yeah, you can see total destruction of this building. All this shit melted together into smaller stones. And all the red color is gone, cooked out, the carbon 14. Down here it looks like it's starting to go blocky in the right corner. So yeah, pretty destroyed, fucked up. And this is interesting too. This was all a building, believe it or not. But I can see it, Jerry can see it, Derek can see it. So we have to help you so you also can see this shit, so we can find out what the fuck was going on here. So in the foreground here you have this sand, and that was because this building was so hot that it became liquid, like liquid building. Then it dried out, got so dry that it just turn into small grains of bricks that we call sand. So it's justified buildings, this in the foreground here. But here you can see, can you see this? Oh fuck, I can't zoom and draw, I think. Because this fucking PC systems is so stupidly made. Retarded. It's Bill Gates of hell who designed this shit. Like, why can't I zoom and draw? Like, isn't we in 2020 now? Are we not supposed to have the technology to do that? But you can see some of the bricks are still left. They are blasted and fucked up. But there are bricks here. There you have them, there you have them. And you also get like the horizontal lines you also get everywhere. Like this. So this looks like bricks too. In there. And you get this like this A-frame melting. And this looks like it was some steps. Like the step pyramid kind of. So yeah, this all melted down. Become very hot at the bottom and became liquid. And now this is the result, and the people call it a mountain. But that's because their brain is malfunctioning. So that's what you get. Yep, and here you see the same kind of shit, devastation. You get sand, you see all the bricks have turned into stones here, all around, only stones and smaller blocks. Total destruction here. It's missing like the whole fucking, all the walls, all the roofs, all missing. Either it got bombed or the roof collapsed, melted and collapsed down and melted into this fucking sand and shit. And in the background you see total destruction of the building. Turned into this, what we call a mountain, but it's not. It's a building. So yep. Very destroyed. Must have been a lot of heat here. And here you see some pockets of survival. And what you should notice first here is the color, the red, because it was built by these fucking red bricks. You can see them here. They are blasted into stone, some of them, and deformed and all that shit, but it was all perfect red bricks, all of this shit. This one too. But this melted over itself, over these buildings here, and formed this rock curtain, is what we call it. And then somehow the heat just got away, ran away very quickly for some fucking reason. So it hardened up again, and this is the result. I don't know how. It's like someone just froze the whole place. Everything stopped. You can see some pictures, you can see like it's dripping, and then it just stops to drip. It hardened up, solidified. So yeah, on the foreground too, you get some a wall or something. It's supposed to be by red bricks, but now it's all stone. And some more red color. Just notice the red color because you can find it everywhere. And this one, I need to explain this one also to the people, because there is a lot of people who think they carved this shit out. Like this was a stone and they carved it out like this. Yeah, all these shapes. Oh, I can't even draw, but I don't care. And then they took this one. And like this. Carved it out, fit perfectly together. But that's not the case, okay? Because this picture is a good evidence. All these big blocks was all perfect small red bricks from Tartaria. But then it got really, really hot by the X Factor event. They melted together, formed these big blocks, because they become viscous, and then they started to sink down because of the weight. All of this was viscous, and imagine, I will draw again. You see how this, you get this. And that's because like all the weight from above here, and this was viscous, it sink down, and then it gets solidified again, and then you get all these weird shapes and sizes here, because it wasn't built like this originally. And you can see from the bottom the heat came up here, turned it into this shit, totally blasted. But what you also can see is, bring up the pen again, I can just have it up. You see like this is a smaller block, and this looks also more flat on the surface, on the front here. Those are more like swollen, you see like rounded, swollen out. But those other blocks here, the smaller ones, looks more flat. So I imagine if the heat was here long enough, this would have turned into a single block like this one. Okay? And the same you see it here too. Here you can see almost, this one isn't finished yet. So maybe this whole fucking place here may have turned into one block. If the heat was here long enough, here you have more small blocks not finished. There you can see they are flat. This one is swollen, this one is flat. So here maybe this would turn into a block. Who knows? It's just weird how all these shapes and sizes form out, comes here and forms out of this heat X factor event. So yeah, here is also a totally melted building. You can still see something that looks like it was a door in the past, but it's all melted. Here this is maybe a window here on the floor beneath. This is all melted, just like picture ice cream and then look at this picture. Melting ice cream, melting building. It's the same shit. So this is the result. Pretty blasted, and you can still see some of the red left. And another castle. I would do anything to own this one and live in this. Look, all alone, no fucking masked people around. All melted buildings in the background. This isn't mountains, it's melted buildings, all of it. But this somehow managed to survive. You can see the heat came up from the bottom here, started to melt the building. This was a huge building. It's still big, but it was huge. Just look at this shit in the background. This was all buildings. Imagine the size. This is just the top of another one like those. So all the bricks started to melt and flow down to the side here. And again, it got hot, and we got what we now call mountain or rock. So yeah, you can see the color is gray and white here, but still here is some of the red left, the red bricks. So this managed to do pretty well. We can zoom in and take a better look. It's in pretty good condition. It got upgraded concrete molds here, over here, very beautiful. Look at the architecture. Towers to the domes all over the place. Fuck. Imagine living in this fucking shit. You can live maybe 100 people in here, and there's plenty of room. These buildings is fucking enormous. Holy fuck. I want one. Okay, so fuck. I tried to scroll. Yep. Look at the devastation here. All this was red brick. Now it turned into blocks. Up here you can see. Turned into stones. More blocks. Very destroyed. Very heated. Melted. Fucked up. So yeah. This was all red bricks. This one is interesting because you can see how it formed stones here up in the roof, and the columns here turned into stones. But what you can see, sorry my mouse is inaccurate, but I will try my best. You see how straight that shit is? Look at these ones. And you can see like it's starting to slide to the side. They want to collapse, tilt this way. All of those. See the angle here? You think they build it like this? It's the heat. It started to slide to the side and collapse. But they managed to harden up and become solid, so they stayed upwards instead of falling down to the ground. But just look at all the stones and yeah, heat damage. All this was red bricks. And if you're new to the channel, take a look at my older videos to catch up, because then you can also see how I grow and get a better understanding, because I found out of this X Factor event by Jerry's channel. I watched 1 or 2 videos and I was like, oh damn, of course. So I started to make videos to help to share the word, because what has been seen can't be unseen. We have to get the truth out. So if you have a PC, a microphone, and download like a program like this, it's free. OBS Studio. You just set it up, you can find guides on it, hit record, you talk while you just show shit. And you upload it to YouTube, and you do humanity a big favor. So please, if you have the possibility, when you have the experience enough to, like, if you really see what we see, please do it. Because people need to know about this. It's very important. And also, again, remember the live stream, mountain time at noon, Wednesday, at When the Buildings Cried channel. So yeah, here you see the bricks turned into stones, and on the right side you see them turned into bigger blocks. Not the first time we see this shit happening. It's what the fucking X Factor did. Don't ask me why, but it happened. So we had to figure out why it happened and how it happened. So yeah, here is a red brick arch, but they are turned into stones, bigger blocks here, blocks at the top, yeah, and stones, blasted. And this is what the brain dead fucks used to call mountains, but this is all melted buildings. All of them is melted buildings. All this shit is the top of melted buildings. All of those. So imagine before they melted how fucking glorious and enormous those buildings were. Huh? Can you picture it in your head? Like some of those buildings, you have the big mountains like fucking Mount Everest and shit. Must have reached fucking up to the clouds. I don't know. Must have been fucking tall and big. And also the people and creatures also in the past, in the Tartaria, they were also bigger. That's why they needed the bigger buildings. They needed space for everyone. They lived in harmony, peace, anarchy. Everyone loved. Everyone was free. Because you can see the result of these buildings they used to build. They can't do that if they are under slavery, because the slave master don't want them to be happy and have nice things. Just like today, we don't get to have nice things. We don't get to use good technology, because why would the slave masters want that for the slaves? For them to enjoy life? No, I don't know. They want to create hell, because when they have hell on earth, they can eat. They eat the negative energy. They eat by the suffering of humanity. So we need to create heaven on earth, and then we can starve them. They will die if everyone just united and started to love each other. They would fucking die. They can't survive here if we are happy and loving. Here you see another building. Totally melted. Turned into small stones and sand. Still got the red color. All fucked up. Imagine the size of this shit. Damn. Here we have some more red, some stones. This one got blasted. Very hot in this place. Here is the same as one of the first pictures, just another angle. Rock curtain from above. Building melting over itself. You can see like these walls and all this tower is like melting inside here. They didn't fucking build it like this. Wake the fuck up, please. It's melted buildings. And here you see the same. Look how this one wants to go black here. This one too, but it missed some of this shit is missing. All these small stones melting together here, getting pretty like a soup here. And it wants, next step is go blocky, turn into blocks. See it here too, get some blocks. So yeah, very blasted place. You can see some scorching, melting, and this sand, look at the fine grains of sand here. It must have been so hot. Liquid, fucking viscosity here must have been almost like water. I don't know. Must have been so hot. Okay, so this is inside a building. You can see the red melting from the top. Here it's mixing together with a mortar and upgraded concrete molds. So you get this mix of colors, different colors. And the brick lines here is pretty melted together. But you can see it's still horizontal. Melted here, and the background, we'll zoom in. Melted building. And you can still see a lot of openings, windows and doors into the building. It's not carved into a fucking mountain, okay? Please, just wake up from that deception. It was a building and it melted. Just look at this. Can you see it? Melted. Look here. You can see some brick lines. Stones turned into stones here. Melted. Yeah, and this is interesting because it looks like this one got hit more from above. Somehow the heat came from the ceiling too. So it came like down like this. Turned this shit into stones and devastated it. And this managed to survive somehow. It got concrete molds on the outside. So yeah, it's very weird. Sometimes you see the heat coming from the bottom, sometimes from the top, and sometimes both at the same time. And in some cases you can see buildings that I can find a picture and take it in one of my videos. You can see a brick building, and you can see just one side of the building is completely blasted. All the bricks is like popping out like popcorn blocks, but the other sides remain untouched. So it's like sometimes it comes from the side, just one direction, like a fucking hot wind, a blasting, scorching wind. I don't know. This X Factor event is very weird, to be honest, but it's very interesting at the same time. So here we have dustified building, and this was a building, this was a building, this was a building, here is one, another one, and another one. Okay, this was all buildings got liquefied here. So fucking hot. This was also a building in the corner. Blasted. This also was a building. Need to just repeat myself so people can get this shit into their brains. You can see the brick lines. And look at the top. I can zoom in. Just need to erase this shit. Can you see how it's melted? Just study this shit. Can you see it? All bubbling, forming these holes, melting down. And then it hardened up again. Here too. Can you see how it's... Can't draw, but can you see how it's melting down here? Dripping down over itself. This was a building, and now it looks like this. This was building. This was building. Now it's dust. Fuck, it won't. I need to... Sometimes this fucking thing won't even scroll. When I have zoomed, I have to zoom in, then I have to zoom in a little bit and zoom out again before it wants to scroll to the next picture. Stupid fucking Microsoft. Okay, so here you can see blocks. The red bricks turned into blocks. Some bigger, some smaller. And look at this fucking fine grains of sand. It's like flour, you know? Flour. Those, the shit you use to bake with. Flour. Not flour, but flour. I don't know. I'm Norwegian, so I try to just pronounce shit, but you know what I mean. Very fine grains. Cocaine, I can... It's like cocaine, okay? Fine grains of sand. Like, yeah, very dustified. Instead of flour, it's like cocaine. Fine powder, maybe I can say, yeah? Try to get better at my English, but I know you can understand, so it's good enough. This was a building. All melted to the side. You can see those. A-frames, brick lines here. I will zoom in after I had drawn finished. Formed some stones on the top and dust. More dust in the foreground here. More stones. Piles of dust. I think. Yep. Red brick lines. Can you see it? The remains. So please just wake up, because this was a building. And check out When the Buildings Cried. Check out Spartan Red. If you're just starting to open your eyes here, I just have like, I don't know, 15 videos or something. They have a lot more. Derek has like 80, 100 I think, if I not remember wrong. And Jerry has like hundreds, so just check out. You will see soon. If you start to see this shit now, you will have endless content and educate yourself. It's very, very important. It's like, first you have flat earth, plain earth, and then you found this X Factor event. It's like a whole new reality on top of flat earth. So it's a very huge, big discovery and very new. Not many people know about it yet. So we need to share the word. So please share out my channel if you have like Instagram or Facebook or something. If you have some friends who think maybe could be interested, please share it out. I will appreciate it. Not for me, but for humanity. That's the thing here. So you can see this was blasted, turned into stones in this place, and on the bottom looks like it's blocks, more blocky here in this area. All this turned into stone, and the color, red color, carbon 14, was cooked out from the heat. You see it everywhere. And again, this was all buildings. This was all buildings, and here we have a small pocket of survival. I don't know how it survived, but it did. So yeah, Building melting down. All this shit. This one is interesting because all the bricks turn into big blocks down here. You can see the blocks. And here they start to get swollen, pop out, popcorn. Big blocks. Big blocks. More big blocks on the top here. But what can you see up there? Ooh! Some of the red bricks survived. Okay? So it was built by this. But the heat turned it into this. Look how swollen and shit this one became. But this is the evidence. This is Tartarian, red bricks. This used to be, but the heat turned it into this shit. Inside here too, you can see the bricks. Yeah? So please open your eyes. So yeah, pretty blasted. Survival of the top. Almost untouched. This too, melted building. And don't ask me how, I wish I knew, but this front side here and this side here managed to survive somehow. But this one didn't. Look how melted that is. All the holes, all blasted to shit. Here you can see it's dripping down. Yeah, heat from the bottom went up this way from the top, but it didn't touch this for some fucking reason. I want to know why, but I can't. So, pocket of survival on the top, all built by red bricks, but now it's turning into stones, you can see. But it was red bricks, all blasted. Here is brick flood on the side, building flowing out, and here it became more dustified. It wasn't. Who the fuck would have built a castle or a building like this on top of fucking sand? Yeah? Do you think they were stupid? Who builds on a fucking pile of sand? Nobody. It will collapse by the time the wind will come, blow the sand away and all that shit, and it will collapse. But this is most likely under the sand here. It's more likely mountain like this, or rock, more solid. How deep does it go? 200 meters? Who knows? Who knows? More blocks. This is the same place as one of the previous pictures. You see the, not the flour, but the cocaine sand here. Fine grains of sand. Stones and blocks. Do you think they built like this? Have a big block here, have a tiny stone here, tiny one there, and a block like there? No. They didn't. It was a highly advanced civilization, Tartaria. Look it up. Yeah, here is more melted building, and someone found it and they wanted to live here, so they made some primitive doors and shit to live inside here. Very primitive, but it works. You can get shelter inside some of them. So this is all a melted building. It's not a mountain. Melted building. Zoom, you cocksucker. Yeah. So, yep. Melted down from the top. And this shit here managed to survive. For some fucking reason. But can you see it's melted? Viscous, forming these holes, all very hot, bubbling. Pulling apart and forming these holes. Here you can see some of the openings still. Oh, this is interesting. Look at this. It's like the arch openings. All this was windows and doors in the buildings. This was all perfect red bricks, and now it looks like this. Stones, small blocks. Very destroyed. And this was a building, dustified. All this, and big blocks again. It was red bricks turned into this. Okay, you can see big blocks here, smaller stones. Melted together, formed these blocks. For some fucking reason. All buildings. Some brick lines. Up here you can see some horizontal lines. And there. See them? And dustified. All this shit was building. All beaches, when you go to the beach next time, sit down in the sun on the hot sand or dust. You're sitting on liquefied or bricks that once was liquefied and turned into sand when it dried out. This is from my local city, Kristiansand in Norway. It's full of Tartarian buildings, not so many big ones, but still lots of beautiful buildings. And you can see like the upgraded concrete mold here, and it has fallen off, and you can see the red bricks beneath, or yeah, under it, and here also. There's tons of beautiful buildings. Here you can see it too, some damage. So yeah, they are doing like maintenance on these buildings. So this will probably be fixed someday. They are actually taking care of some of these buildings. I love that. They are so beautiful, some of them. I will show you more here too. This is like the main street where you walk like and get all the stores on both sides. So here you have one. Just look at this upgraded concrete molds here. Look at the fucking architecture, and they say 1890 suck my dick. Okay, because that's all bollocks. And here you have one. Concrete molds. And this one too on the left. And we scroll. Here is another one. Can you see the Antiquitech? Tesla. Zzz. Like Martin used to say. Zzz. Tartarian. Looks like copper. And doesn't want to scroll. Yeah, this is the church. As we all know, churches used to be devices, like energy devices, and the fucking stupid cocksucker Freemasons came and turned it into some religious bullshit buildings of warship. So this is like some antenna, all copper, but it's not active anymore. They disabled most of these buildings, but just look at the architecture. And they say 1890 or 1880 something on this one too, and that's all bullshit. It's much older. And here is another one. Got the concrete molding on finish on the outside. Some designs up top here. But the bottom you can see it turned into blocks. Also it got basements below. How low does it go? I don't know. but it was brick flooded, not mud flooded. So yeah. Scroll, you piece of shit. And here is the destruction of the Freemasons. This building turned into a fucking mechanibal. And they say 1890 suck my cock there too. It's bullshit. Upgraded concrete molds on the outside. Looks like some blocks here. The bottom. And why the fuck would you use stairs to go up to the entrance? Imagine like in the winter time, you get ice here, so you get out in the morning, slide, and you hit your head on the stairs and you die. It's like no basements on flat earth, okay? Fuck, scroll. Yeah, here is another building. See the brick lines? How it flowed down. All the lines, horizontal lines. And look at this fucking destruction here. Holy fuck. Can you see? It's all melted, okay? All melted. Fucking blasted to shit, this one. Where is the rest of it? Nothing here, just this. And you need to scroll, yeah. And here you see more evidence, like from the Mayan place or whatever. Those are just a little smaller, but you can see how they all get some angles here. They're not perfect blocks, they got some angles. But in a smaller scale, compared to one of the first pictures I showed you. And above here you can see this one have turned into a nice block. Those are still like stones, but they would have melted into blocks and turned into this. So it looks like they carved out perfect to fit them perfectly together like this, but it was all once red bricks. You see this shit everywhere. So the heat came up mostly up to here. Was hotter up to here, a little colder up here, but still fucking hot. You can see it's still melting and forming blocks. So if it wants to scroll, yes, here you see it too. Turn into big blocks. Big blocks here, a smaller one. And some of them fell down, collapsed, all these blocks. This was all red bricks. I hope you start to see soon. And I know a lot of you see already. I get many good positive feedbacks from both Jerry and Derek and my Instagram followers. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, please do. I will show you there. The Tartarian meltdown. Okay? In one word. The Tartarian meltdown. I post all kinds of different shit, but you can use it for DMs. If you have questions or wanna just have a talk or something, just add me on Instagram, the Tartarian meltdown, and I will help you out, okay? This was a melted building, like all the rest, and you can see some of the arches here. Still see the shape of it, but they are buried below itself. This turned into dust here and got buried in itself, but it was all a building. And yes, here you see the same shit turn into blocks and some stones, bigger blocks here. You see this shit all over the plane, okay? Stones, melted mess here, sand, dust on the ground, blocks, big blocks, and no roof. Must have been collapsed or bombed. I know a lot of the wars were created just to destroy the evidence of the old world. Sadly, that's fucking crimes against humanity to destroy these nice buildings. Just look at the Crystal Palace in London, how they burned it down because people started to realize that hey, something is off with this building, and it's plain to see. So yeah, that was all my pictures for this video. Hope it wasn't too long. How long is it? 45 minutes, that's okay. Just if you don't have time, watch it in 2 sections. And since you watched to the end, please now, since the video is over, head over to When the Buildings Cried, his channel, Jerry. Subscribe and bell. You won't get notification from the live for the live stream at Wednesday at noon Mountain Time. So just be there around that time, and you will be able to join us and just talk melted buildings. So shout out to Jerry, When the Buildings Cried. Shout out to Derek, Spartan Red. Please like, subscribe, share to your friends. If you got some open-minded friends, please share. And hit the bell, and see you in the next one, okay? Have a nice day. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.